So good morning, ladies and gents. Welcome back to Scotland for some more landscape photography, of course. I'm just going to make a cough. I've had a good little sleep. There's the fairy lights. There's the polar bears. I'm just going to make a cough in a second with the jet boil. And then I'll have a little bit of a chat with you because my plans have been scuppered just a little bit because of the ferries here in Scotland. But I've found a way around it, literally. So I'll have the cough. I am going to go out for a bit of a sunrise shoot, even though it's looking a little bit grim out, but we're out here living the dream. We'll see what comes of it. And then, yeah, we'll have a little bit of a chat and I'll give you an update. That's when you know you're living the dream in Scotland, when you got to keep wiping the camera lens. It's a little bit drizzly, but I'll tell you what a location to start off the morning. It's grey, it's moody, it's Scottish, it's beautiful. I've got this whole little bay here to myself. There's not a soul here. It's not as windy as I thought it was going to be, so that's a bonus. And I've got my first photograph planned out already. Firstly, let me talk about my plans and how they've been scuppered once again. I was supposed to get a ferry from the Lake, which is close by to here, over to the Isle of Skye, because I've been in this area. Unfortunately, the ferries for today and tomorrow at least have been cancelled. There's a lot of staff absent with positive COVID tests, as it seems to be in many industries at the minute. So that's a little bit unfortunate. However, I've kind of got my heart set on it and I've made a few plans, to be in Skye. So all I'm going to do, I'll show you on the map here. It's a little bit disheartening, so I don't want to look at it again, but it's half an hour to take the ferry from where I am, or it's about 2.5 or 3 hours to drive all the way around through Fort William. So a little bit of a downer, but I want to be there and I can stop for a brekkie in Fort William, get myself a proper brekkie. So yeah, how's that for looking at the positive? I'll just take it slow, But yes, I'm going to concentrate my time on this beautiful bay for the morning, and as per my last video really, just try and relax a little bit more and slow down and enjoy the environment, enjoy the trip, and don't make myself feel like I have to rush on to the next location every time, So yeah, I'm going to get myself set up here now because I know exactly what I'm going to photograph. I'm having a moment, a positive one, a good one. I was just thinking then, right, this morning is like nothing special. So as opposed to, let's say, the sunset in my last week's video when it was carnage, it was amazing. It was vibrant in many different aspects. But this morning could easily be mistaken for being like boring and flat. But for me, I'd use the word like modest in a really positive sense, and these, I don't know if this is a real bold statement, but hopefully one or two of you will know what I mean. I think when I think back to my Scottish trips or any photography trips that I go on, it's actually these sorts of mornings that mean the most to me rather than the sunsets. These where I can just relax, take in the environment. It's not all just about the photography. There's nobody else here, the wind's not too bad. It's just modest, and just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not running around, I'm just taking it all in, and I'm actually able to slow down somewhat. Absolutely loving this, honestly. I've said this before, and photographers say this all the time. I love the roller coaster of landscape photography, the different emotions. This, compared to the sunset last week, or in last week's video, it was yesterday for me. it's just two completely different levels of emotion. You know, carnage versus basically like meditation for me, this is. Anyway, less of that. We are set up. We've got the polarizer on the front to bring out the blues of the sea. We all know what that's doing. And yeah, I'll put an image up on the screen here, which is pretty much the same shot that I'm taking now. I took this photograph when I was last here, but critically, I took it on my iPhone 8, and I wasn't particularly pleased with not the image quality, but the file. It was just a JPEG, so I couldn't really edit it very well, and it was just ruining the image quality. I need to sort my iPhone out and make sure I'm shooting in RAW. Can you actually do that on iPhone? Someone let me know. That'd be good to know. Maybe you have to download an app or something. I don't know. Just so that when I'm taking them snapshots, at least I've got, you know, a better file to edit. But anyway, I've always wanted to come back just to this beach and to take this photograph with the proper camera, if you will. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm also shooting it in a landscape orientation. And what I'm doing is probably something a little bit arty-farty, won't be liked by some. ISO 64, f14, which is allowing me to get a 3-second exposure. I've got some of these reeds down here on the dunes in the foreground, and they're getting sort of blurred out. So I'm actually waiting for a gust of wind to blow all the reeds, grab the shot, and then yeah, it looks a little bit like a painting. I mean, the whole scene looks like a painting anyway, but I like it. And then the 3-second exposure is as well, of course, smoothing out the water, crashing up against the cliffs over there, which I personally like. And I think it's probably all about this lone cottage. It looks like a modern house that's made to look in the style of something a little bit older. I'm not sure, but it's very photogenic. That's the main thing. It's almost quite symmetrical. I like the colour of it. I do think the conditions are suited quite well to the subject. And that's it. So, one that I've taken before, but hopefully this one will be an improvement, and just trying something a little bit different with capturing that. I'm going to grab one now actually. Capturing that motion in them reeds. So just briefly before I move on, I'm going to go down to the beach in a minute and see if I can find something down there. I've just taken another photograph. All I've done is twisted the camera around and I'm shooting that peninsula there, zoomed right in, yeah, right in at 200mm. And I don't know why, but I've got a feeling this might be my favourite photograph of my trip so far. It's just basically, hang on, that's better. It's basically just capturing that peninsula at the end as the waves crash into the side. What I love about this, right, is it's not really, I wouldn't call it just flat out overcast. It's a little bit misty. So it's cool because the sea, you can see it there, look, it just sort of fades out into the sky or into the mist. And that's why I think I really like this photograph. You know, the background is it's just bathed in mystery. It feels wonderful. And the peninsula's kind of taking you out into that mystery. I don't know, maybe a little bit arty-farty again, but I like it. It's beach, sea, and the rocks, and the sea as it's crashing up against them rocks. I've got the same settings. I don't think I even touched the settings. It's a 1.3 second exposure, f14, and ISO 64. Oh, right, so I'll probably make this one the last photograph from this particular location because I'm very excited for Skye and for my brekkie. So I'm looking forward to getting back to the car, if I'm being honest. But honestly, the location's mad. It really is. It's one of those sorts of rare locations where you could just spend, you know, all day here and probably leave with 10 brilliant photographs. It's that beautiful, and it's an absolute privilege to be here. It really is. So I've come into this sort of smaller bay here now, which is nice. The only thing is, behind me there's loads of seaweed, and I instantly thought, ugh, mess, carnage, I don't want that in my photograph. And then I found this lovely, beautiful little patch of seaweed here in the foreground. I just thought it'd be nice to sort of tell the story. It's never the sort of thing I'd, you know, have in a photograph. I always want to simplify my sort of coastal scenes especially. But I like this one, and it also happens to be bang in the middle of this little channel we've got here, where we've got this stream going down into the ocean and creating all these patterns with the black sand, these little swirls. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's why I've got the wide angle lens on, right close to the seaweed and to all these patterns, just to almost make it, you know, one of the most important parts of the photograph, if not the most important part. I've got the polarizer on again. So important here. I don't think I'll be able to take this shot without it. You can see there, look at the reflections. We've just got so much glare because it's basically a very thin surface of water. The polarizer is allowing us to sort of cut through that and capture all that sort of black sand. And then yeah, we've just got this bay here, which is a nice balance, you know, rocks on the left side, rocks on the right side, and they sort of frame that beautiful turquoise ocean perfectly. And the sky is not bad. If I was being greedy, I'd like a little bit more detail up there, but I cannot grumble too much about that. ISO 64, f11 and 1/1/6 of a second. I'll show you that now. There's some rocks you might be able to see a little bit further. There they are. I might try the same concept but with them in the foreground as well. If I do, I'll show you. And if I take any more from this location, I'll show you as well. But like I said, yeah, I think I'm probably at this stage more excited for the brekkie than I am for Skye. I have to be honest. I have to be honest. So I'm just going to traverse over this this cattle grid here. Always have to concentrate going over them things. Anyway, we've arrived in Skye. It's mad, I just looked at the map. Where I would have got off the ferry is so close, honestly, probably like 20-25 minutes drive. But it is what it is, we're here now. And what a drive it was. Honestly, it was one of them where I just wanted to stop every 2 minutes. It was absolutely stunning once we got into like Loch Alsh and Skye. Emotional at times, honestly. There's a couple of times, I mean this, like when the tears were brewing. The tears were brewing, if not the eyes were watering, you know. It was stunning, and I knew this would happen, to be fair. And you've just got to laugh at these things. We've had like quite nice light all day as I've been travelling here. Oh, a little shortcut. I'll have a bit of that, I'll have a bit of that. Yeah, so is what it is as well with the light. It seems to have gone a little bit claggy again now, but I don't mind. We're here living the dream, aren't we? We'll see what we can make of it. So I've come to this little coastal area down in the southern area of Skye, and we should be looking back into the depths of the island, all the big mountains, the Cooling Range, But like I said, it's a bit claggy, so it remains to be seen. However, we all know what happened last week, don't we? So I probably will be holding my breath and feeling just a little bit optimistic. We'll see. So I've made it to the end of this peninsula. It's wonderful, it's wild, it's rugged, the wind's coming in. Once again, it's Scotland. Absolutely class. So you can see here, some old castle, you know, just stumbled upon it as you do. Look at that, how cool is that? I'd like to say there's a photograph there, but I don't think there is. I've yet to have a proper scour around yet, to be fair. But yeah, the disappointing thing is at the minute is in that direction, just past these small little islands. That's where we're supposed to be getting that view of the magnificent mountain range. But yeah, a little bit too much low cloud at the minute. But I've got to sit it out after what happened last week. I absolutely have to, and how changeable the weather has been on this trip so far, and today especially. So we shall see. If not, I'd like to think, I can find some sort of photograph here either way to seal off today's adventure. Fingers crossed. So, whoa, where is that? Set up for what is going to be definitely now the last shot of the day. It doesn't look like anything's going to happen with the sunset. To be fair, it's around about now, so very unlikely. But I'm just trying something different because I'm not massively inspired, you know. The location, I feel, needs to have them background mountains for this to work. Do you know what I mean? However, what I'm doing, I'll tell you what I'm doing to try and I say this a few times, I like to experiment, I suppose, a little bit, do things that I wouldn't ordinarily do, just to try and spice things up a little bit when this happens. It's very, very beautiful, all the same. I've taken one photograph with the polarizer and the 6-stop on the front, which was getting me a shutter speed of around about 2 minutes. Obviously completely smoothing out the water. We're getting some of the waves crashing into this far left-hand side island or islet that you can see there. There's 3 of them in total, by the way, and it's just smoothing all of that out completely. Real sort of long exposure effect. And then I've taken the filter off and just taken a normal photograph, a fast shutter speed. A normal shutter speed? What's a normal shutter? A fast shutter speed. And that's because I don't want to blur out the clouds. They're really nice as they are, you know, a lot of detail. And what I'll do is get them both in post-processing, both in Photoshop actually, and blend them together. So I've got the sky from the fastest shutter speed and the foreground, the land, you know, and the sea for the longer shutter speed. I think that'll look cool. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I have booked myself a hotel for tonight, so I'm looking forward to the luxury of having a shower. But this has been a really good day actually, considering things went sour with the ferry, and I feel like I've made the best of it. I am pretty shattered now, I must admit. The breakfast only took me so far. But I hope you like this last shot, a little bit experimental. Thank you so much for tuning in and for your continued support. When I'm feeling tired like this, I know that you guys are still interested in what I'm doing, and that means the world. So thank you very much. Please comment below. I love to hear from you, especially when I'm out on these trips. I know a lot of yous. I've seen these landscapes. Right, I'm off. Thank you, and I'll see yous on the next adventure. Out!